The following podcast may be explicit. Shedcast presents Adventures from the Shed, a tabletop RPG podcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.
Hi there! Join us as the girls take over the shed and talk with Joe about girls and gaming and some of the unique issues women face in what is usually seen as men's territory. We'll share our thoughts on gaming from a female perspective and share a little bit about our likes and dislikes and some of our favorite games.
All right, let's go.
Hi everybody and welcome to The Shed for Adventures from the Shed. Today we've got a special Sidebar podcast. I have with me Kat and Bridget and Mickie. Mickie, one of our regulars. Kat and Bridget, special guests for today. We're going to have these nice ladies talk about what it's like to be a girl and have to play with guys.
We're nice ladies.
So what I'd like to do is go around the table and just give a quick hi and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Kat. I was introduced to D&D, I guess, through my boyfriend who knows Mickie and JJ. And I got introduced to this through JJ, who was like, hey, they're doing a Girlie podcast. Do you want to be a part of it? And I was like, sure.
No problem.
You fit the bill.
You're a girl.
No, yes,
Right.
I am a female by nature.
Bridget.
Hi, I'm Bridget, otherwise known as the DM's wife. So I've been introduced to D&D involuntarily, for the most part, through my husband's escapades, especially with this podcast. But I tell you, I like listening to the stories, and it's always been very interesting, while my time actually playing has been just about never. It's fun to see, and it's fun to read, and fun to listen to.
Awesome. And hey, everyone, it's Mickie again. You know, the antics will continue. That's all I've got to say.
Today you don't have to play with boys.
I don't have to play with boys today, so that's a plus.
So, like I was saying to start, we're going to talk about the female perspective in gaming. And we're not going to restrict it to just the RPG games that we do play here at Adventures from the Shed. We have different experiences around the table, and we just want to open it up kind of in general. Who would like to kick us off?
So,
Mickie.
I'll start. Why not? So, gaming, like girls in gaming, I think I've shared before, while I've had experience playing on a table with a table of mostly guys or all guys, and then I've also had some experience playing with a table that were some girls there, and it's definitely different. I joke that, you know, during our regular podcast, I play with boys, but these guys are actually really well behaved compared to some of the horror stories that I've heard of my fellow gamers out there. And I think it's an interesting dynamic. I know I'm not unique in that I've experienced some discrimination, I think, especially as a new gamer entering the world of D&D. Some people just don't want to take the time or have the patience to teach a starting player, and that can be a bit intimidating to a starting player, especially a girl breaking into the boys club, quote unquote. But my experiences have been, for the most part, positive. There have been some negatives, and I wanted to start this podcast just to get the conversation flowing, because I'm sure there's other women out there and other girls out there who like the game and are maybe intimidated to start a game or enter a game with mostly guys, or are having a grand old time and say, Mickie, I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? I don't know. What do you think, Kat?
I think that's a good point. I never really got into gaming because I had two brothers, and it was definitely their thing. Mm-hmm. So if I could like sneak into their room and watch, then that was like it's such a huge big thing that I could actually sit in there with them. They would often get like really mad and just kick me out, or they would let me play and then completely demolish me in whatever game they were playing. Usually like Super Smash Bros. Or Crash Bandicoot. And then through that, like growing up, I would always lose to them, and I would like get super excited when I actually won once, and then my brothers would just be like, "Oh, we let you win." It was like,
turn the game off, kick her out. Yeah,
pretty much. And so that's just, it turned me off to video games altogether. And then I started, you know, when I was younger, I loved to play pretend. I had quite a few friends who would play pretend with me, and we'd go off on like our own little adventures around the neighborhood, pretending to be some other fantastical creature. And that's where I really learned that it's an experience, and it doesn't have to be for just one person. You can make the game whatever you want it to, and that's why I love RPG games, and that's why I love D&D. I was introduced to it, I guess, was it a year ago? A year ago now.
Yeah, a year ago. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To the world of D&D. No, we're sorry. You were introduced to it via JJ and Mickie. So you've had our warped interpretation.
No, that's fine. I mean, I still don't understand the game that much, but still...
you have fun playing it.
Yes, it's so much fun. Because y'all are very well behaved people.
Yeah, for the most part, this group is really well behaved. Like, I mean, I remember when we played in Asheville, there was one group that I played with, and the guys were just crass, and it was like, really, I don't want to hear about that craziness. I just want to come and play my game. Leave me alone, you know? Mm-hmm. And then there's other games where there are girls involved, and they do the stereotypical, I'm going to get comments on this, but the whole stereotypical, you know, she wore like the lowest cut shirt she had and was like fawning over all the guys, and all the little kids were like, oh, it's a girl
say that
playing.
again, but slower.
Fawning over all the guys.
Joseph.
What?
Seriously, it's like, you know, there's extremes in everything, right? So I wish, I don't know, maybe it's just my perspective, but there should be more of a happy median. And I understand what you mean by when you were little or when you were younger, your brothers were like, get out of here. It's a privilege for you to watch us play games. Because, I mean, thinking about all the guys in high school who played games, this is another reason. Like, I don't like video games, and that I think I'm blaming every guy I ever played with because of that. They're like, oh, we're awesome at this, and you suck. You're just a girl. And it's like, seriously, just let me figure out how to play this stupid game, and then I'll whoop your butt, you know?
Yeah. I think there are, like, two kind of girls that, I guess, in the world, people expect you to be if you're a girl in the gaming world. You're either, like, super sensual, and you're trying to seduce all the men, or you're exactly like all of the men and super butch. It's like, why can't we just be who we are?
Yeah. Why can't we just be awesome?
Yeah, I mean, we're in like sweatshirts and stuff and sweaters.
We're recording a podcast.
Yeah.
What do you think, Bridget?
Well, I haven't had much experience with D&D, but what you guys were talking about, video games, kind of brought me back to one of the most fun games I ever played, which was Gemstone, which was a text-based MUD game, and it was amazing. But I think I liked it because there was no graphics. I didn't have to look at scantily clad pictures of very buxom creatures looking at me. I could imagine what I wanted it to be, and it wasn't sexist, and it wasn't, you know, super macho. You could just imagine what everybody was, what you wanted them to be, and that was one of my favorite ones to play.
It didn't have a control pad either.
Yeah,
it was a computer
it was
keyboard.
Completely text command line. Yeah, it was old school. But it was fabulous, and it was kind of like a D&D adventure. You could make up your own story as you go. You could do what you wanted, and interact with the world and interact with other characters. But you didn't have that graphic in your face, and that was what I don't like about a lot of the World of Warcraft and things like that. I don't want to look at other women's boobs. You know, I mean, I have nothing against it, but geez, you know. It doesn't need to be in your face.
You've got your own boobs. You don't need to look at other boobs.
Exactly.
That's a really good point. I've become so desensitized to it, but you're right. The majority of the games, the games that are marketed
I have little girls, too. And, you know, they'll come up with, every now and then, wanting to play something, and I was like, the graphics in that are not appropriate for 9 and 12-year-old girls to be looking at.
Gosh,
even though it may be harmless. But yeah, something like Diablo.
Well, Diablo 3, the thing that freaked me out the most, it wasn't all the blood and the guts and stuff. Diablo's got boobs. In Diablo 3, Diablo, he comes back from a female, and poof, Diablo's got boobs.
Yeah,
nice.
Disturbing.
They're a lot of the games now, they're definitely geared towards men. And so, I mean, Grand Theft Auto. I mean, how many boobs are in that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's everywhere.
So
And-
gaming companies out there, take note. I mean,
They
what-
know
what-
exactly who's going to play them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the boys are going to play them.
But there are girls out there who, I mean, I know one of my coworkers loves console gaming. So, she's up. It's like a really steep learning curve for one, if you want to go out there and learn and play and go into the interactive world and play with other people. It's a steep learning curve. People have very little patience for beginners. And then on top of that, she's got to deal with all this other stuff of, the expectations placed on players or for players with these games and these graphics. And I mean, there's guys out there with a warped sense of what a girl is, because all they see is these images that are false. So it's a weird world out there. But what about like outside of gaming? Like thinking about like just the whole world of gaming, sci-fi, convention, comic books, cons, etc. My mic keeps cutting in and out.
I think that women have to work twice as hard in the nerd world as boys do, because it's becoming more of our world with cosplay. Because I mean, if you have a decent body, then you can wear like Mad Moxie costume and everyone loves you, and then all the girls hate you.
But it's the same thing.
It's a double-edged sword. I mean,
Yeah.
we cannot be satisfied. I have full body armor. And then I pull off my bucket or my helmet, excuse me, more Mandalorian lingo.
For those who don't know, Kat cosplays as a merc.
Yeah,
And she's pretty badass.
I'm a
I've seen her
Mandalorian mercenary from Star Wars, Boba Fett. I have to specify all the time. But yeah, I pull off my bucket and I have a braid, and I have more of like the androgynous type of armor, because I don't have like the gigantic cups. Like
So you don't have the
brown
the molded
soup bowls. I don't have the soup bowls, no. And that's the way I like it. And then I pull off my bucket, and then at MonsterCon last year, there's this group of guys who are following me around. They're like, "Oh, what a picture with the girl merc." And I was like, just go away, please. Please just go away.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy myself here.
I'm just a merc. Leave me alone. Don't make me shoot you.
I mean, it's kind of cool in a way, because now that it's Mandalorians is definitely a guy thing. There are huge majority of males compared to females, but now females are getting a lot bigger into it because of Sabine, because from the Rebels, Sabine, and then Bo-Katan from the Star Wars Clone Wars animated series. Girls saw that and they're like, I want to be her because she's awesome.
Yeah, she is awesome.
Yeah.
And like thinking back, like I've shared that James and I go to Dragon Con every year, and I mean, there's definitely pressure on those girls to wear the scandalous costume and the least amount of clothing and just body paint and show off all their stuff. It's like, so to me, some of the best costumes aren't about showing skin. It's about originality and, your interpretation of the character. And honestly, I don't want to see half of your body. I don't want to see that. I'd rather see the character and your vision of what that character should look like. Don't feel the pressure to have to show your boobs just to get attention and get pictures.
There is a difference, though, because like Mad Moxie, she's obviously a very busty character, and if you don't have boobs, then you can make it look like you have boobs.
But why do you have to wear boobs? Why can't I just be a flat-chested
It's character. It's like the character. You're being true to the character. If you truly love Mad Moxie, then be Mad Moxie. You have to be screen accurate, and then everyone is like, she's a total,
Yeah.
You can say it.
Yeah.
She's a hoe.
she's a hoe. I don't know if I could say it or
It'd
not.
be like dressing up as the Hulk without green skin. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't really be the Hulk.
Well, I mean,
pretend I have
what
green
if
A Hulk with a shirt on.
Oh, that, yes.
Oh, yeah.
What if so what if the Hulk has embraced his anger issues, and is working on it,
I could
and
see
he's
that getting
wearing,
attention.
you know, that could totally get attention. I am the Zen Hulk. I am calmer, gentler Hulk. Just walk around in Ohm all day. Why not?
Yeah.
It's my interpretation of the character. If I want to be a flat-chested Moxie,
But
I'm
then
gonna be a
there are
flat-chested
also those
Moxie.
people who are like, they create a Boba Fett, and it's showing skin, showing, they have like this little thong thing on, and then this little bra thing on, and then they paint it to look like Boba Fett. And that's just kind of ruining the character for me, because then
ruins
people,
it.
I got called Boba Fett at Dragon Con.
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett!
Booba Fett?
I was like,
insulting.
No!
That's
It
ridiculous.
was horrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, that the whole cross-gender, what do they call it? Gender bending?
Yeah.
Gender bending of in cosplay.
Cross-dressing.
Cross-dressing. Drag queens. We have a bunch of drag queens at Dragon Con. I love it. I love drag queens.
Dragon queen.
To all my drag queens out there, I have total respect for you guys. No tea, no shade.
Todor respect.
Total respect. And I haven't even had anything to drink tonight.
Why not?
Whoa. Because I got to work tomorrow. That's why not.
I'm almost done with this
me
water.
too.
That's a lot of drink.
Is it water or vodka?
This one's water.
Oh, okay.
It's
Damn.
vodka.
Vodka. So that's con. Okay, so what about, like, can you think about instances of, like, when I think of the nerd universe, right? So the quintessential comic book shop experience, right? Walking in there for the first time. Any experiences there?
Not really.
Not really?
Actually, I've been to the two down on Lawrence Road, Richard's comic book store, and then the Borderlands.
Borderlands.
Yes.
Shout out to Borderlands.
Borderlands. I like them, but there's like, I go on a Saturday and there's usually a lot of kids there. And so I walk in and I'm surrounded by little kids.
Little ankle biters.
Yeah.
They're
So I'm okay.
I guess they save up their allowance. They're allowed.
Yeah.
Is it because you've played now for a year that you know what to expect when you walk in? Like, would you have felt the same way 2 years ago walking into the same store?
Okay, this is a fun experience. So I worked at a costume shop for over 2 years, and as you can imagine, a costume shop, a little hole in the wall, would invite quite a few odd characters, and quite a few times I had like a Doctor Who shirt on, and I was just like, working, it's very casual there, and you don't have to wear anything fancy. And I had a Doctor Who shirt on, and this guy comes in, and he's like long hair, probably didn't shower in the last couple of months, and just like anyways, I don't want to say typical nerd, but like it's, if you could imagine what a nerd would be like stereotyped as like in the 90s or something, that would be him.
So
Anyways.
he came from his mom's basement.
Crawled up-
Pretty much,
crawled up the
pretty
basement
much.
steps.
Yeah, and so he would come in, and we'd get talking, and he was like, well, I really want to do something from a video game. And I was like, so I'd help him out with a costume. And he says, you know Doctor Who? It's like, yeah, I love
I
Doctor
know
Who.
him personally.
Yeah. I love Doctor Who, and he was like, no way. And so we'd get talking, and we'd just, I would tell him that we would do, that I play D&D, I love Lord of the Rings, I love all this nerdy stuff, and so he'd start hitting on me.
Of course.
Obviously, because
Obviously.
what do you do when you meet a fairly attractive female nerd?
She's hot, everyone. Don't let her. She's really cute. That's an interesting point.
My
so,
mom's calling me.
Oh no.
No.
So that's an interesting point that you bring, the expectation, right? So if I wear like a nerdy shirt and run into someone, it's one of two things. It's either, you don't know do you have any idea what shirt you have on?
Mm-hmm.
Or, oh wow, you must be something special because you're a girl and you know who Doctor Who is. Can I get more? Kind of like, Eeyore, yes, Master Moore, So that I've seen the two extremes, and I can totally relate to that experience. What do you think, Bridget?
Don't have much experience with that. I went to big robot games a couple of times, and I was definitely the only female in the building on a few occasions, and it's kind of awkward. And
Did you feel like
kinda
everything just stopped and all eyes turned?
Nah, they were pretty much into what they were doing and actively ignoring me.
Oh gosh. That's funny.
Yeah.
It's a female. Don't look.
It's a female. Don't look. Stop. There's one. My sister's gonna kill me. Okay, so my sister and I. This is when I first started dating James back in the day, and he took us to a comic book in Fort Lauderdale, a comic book shop in Fort Lauderdale. Now my sister's really cute. She's a little shorter than me, much bigger chest,
Much bigger booba fett.
she's much bigger booba fett. So like we walk in, and it was like, you know, like in the movies, like the scratching of the record. Stop. Like every head in the shop turned, and they were like staring at her, and she looked at me. She's like, "Is there something on my face? You know, is my shirt like undone? My fly's up. I don't get it." So she's like walking through this shop, and the kids, young gentlemen,
Adorable little kids.
are like
40-year-olds.
like they're like tripping, like dropping stuff. She's like, wow, you know, if I ever need a boost to my self-esteem, this is where I'm going to go, you know, because this was like the place. It was hilarious. And like, she has never walked into another comic book shop to this day because she's like, no, I don't want to deal with that again.
Sad.
Which is sad.
That's sad.
Mm-hmm. They ruins it for her.
Oh.
Whatever.
Let me ask a question from that perspective then, from the what could ruin it for you perspective. When getting into a game of whatever type, whether it be a computer game or a role-playing game, what could happen at the beginning that would say, I'm not coming back for another session, or I'm logging off and not coming back onto the server, or something that you definitely that would definitely turn you completely off from that situation and possibly stop you from ever going back into a comic book store again?
You want to start with me? Or do you want to start with
Do you
Kat?
have an experience?
I think the one thing that would just completely turn me off is just ignorance. You know, just don't discriminate against me just because I'm a quote-unquote girl or, you know, anything or something to that effect. Just, you know, just treat me like any other player. Recognize if I'm a novice player, I tell everyone at the table, you know, I'm new to this game. Please have some patience with me, but I'm going to work on it. And I'll get just as good, if not better, than everyone at the table. Just, you know.
As long as your ego can fit
As long
into
as
the
my
chair.
ego can fit in the chair, it works out to be great.
That's not me.
The only thing I can think of, again, video game related, is, you know, if there's some video game that I'm dying to play, and I go in and I create this really cool character, and I make her hair the color I like, and fix her outfit the way I like, and then as soon as I log into the game and start playing, some guy walks up and says, "Hey, you want a cyber?" You know, that would be like, nah, that's it. Game over, logging off, going away, bye-bye.
That's not why I logged in.
Yeah, that's not why I logged in.
I logged in to play, not to cyber with you, psycho. Go away.
Like, ew, ew, ew. Go away.
Ew, 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 go away.
You wash your keyboard.
Yes.
Lysol. Like it. What about you?
Well, a specific experience. I haven't had any experiences besides my brother's with video games, but or cosplaying, because that's something that I love to do. But at college, I tried to play D&D with a friend of mine from acting class, and I had just like passively mentioned as like. I think it was when JJ actually contacted me about doing a little girly podcast about D&D, and I was talking to him about it, and I was like, I get to be on a podcast, you should check it out. It's about D&D, and he was like, wait, you play D&D? It's like, yeah, I do. I love it. I've been playing it for like a year now. And he's like, no way. That's interesting. Okay. Would you like to come play with me and my friends? It's like, who are your friends? And he says, just a couple of guys from ROTC. It's like, that sounds really weird. So I'm like entertaining the idea, and he's talking about it. And then I meet some of his friends, and then I automatically decided that I didn't want to go there by myself, because it was like all of the I mean, they weren't like nerdy, but they were just like, oh my gosh, it's a girl. Why do you want to play D&D? That's so weird. Because they're used to all of these like sorority girls, and then here I am, It's like, yeah, I like a tabletop game. Is that so hard to believe? Or like, no, that's just weird. I don't think you would like fit in. I was like, I don't have to fit in. I just like to play D&D. Later, I found out they did a very, very different kind of role-playing where they make up their own stories and their own characters. And it's basically like role-playing with a grid, not following any kind of rules, but maybe with like a die 20. And apparently they raided McDonald's headquarters.
Huh. Interesting.
I'm so glad I didn't go.
Yeah. I mean, unless you were looking for a Big Mac.
Yeah, McRibs are...
Can I get fries with that?
That's a nice
You want some
motivation.
fries with that shit?
All right, to all the guys out there, stop it with the fries and the shake.
Hey!
We don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it.
Have you had a Wendy's Frosty with their fries?
I'm sorry, but I have to admit that's pretty good. I have had that.
So good, Mickie.
Yes.
Hey, baby, you want some fries with that shake? No, you psycho, get away from me.
No, but if you've got a Frosty.
Yeah, some
might
Frosties,
talk.
some Wendy's fries, dollar menu.
Oh, we're going to get comments on this one. I'm
You
sorry.
can hope so.
I apologize.
Now, let me ask that from the flipped perspective. If, and I'll ask Bridget, you first, you've listened to our podcast, you've witnessed us playing the game now,
Yep.
you've listened to other games that I've recorded playing, and you've started listening to other podcasts. What, if you were to start playing a game, what would interest you at a gaming table? Let's talk about what you've experienced. What would make you want to join that group?
Okay. One thing that I've noticed listening to the AFTS crew is you guys are all equals. You guys are all on the same level. Nobody treats the girl like a girl. You're all players on an adventure, and you're doing something together. Now, there's other podcasts, other recordings I've listened to where the girl's just kind of tagging along, la-di-da, stopping to fix her hair, check her shoe. You know, it's not a character. It's not a believable thing. It doesn't draw you into the story. It doesn't help paint the picture. It doesn't help get your goal accomplished. I think that I would want to be part of a balanced group. Whatever I brought to the group, I would want to be a valuable skill that would help the group succeed. I wouldn't just want to be tagging along and, la-di-da, and skipping along behind all the guys while all the men do all the work. And I'm just kind of picking daisies on the side of the road. And that wouldn't interest me whatsoever. Except as, an NPC one-time thing, just coming along to mess with you guys. That would be fun.
What I said was those are +2 daisies you're picking.
Oh, yes. +2 daisies of restoration.
Absolutely.
+2 daisies to fabulous.
Fabulous! I would want to be an equal with my peers at the table. I think everybody at the table should see everybody else as a peer. Nobody's better than anybody else. You're all hopefully starting out on the same foot as far as your characters go and as far as the storyline goes. And you don't treat a girl just like a girl. Like, stay back, I'll take care of this, ma'am.
Damsel in distress.
Yeah, damsel in distress kind of thing. Let the girl be a hero too.
Yeah.
Damn right.
I like that. I want to be a hero.
I want to be a hero.
I need a hero.
Mickie wants to be the hero.
I am the hero. I second that.
Are you Baymax?
You're ridiculous.
I am too old
Big
for
hero.
references.
Okay, and I'm not
sorry.
getting any of the
Yeah.
references either.
Oh,
That's
okay.
so
Big
That
Hero
is from
6.
Big Hero 6.
This is how I feel all the
No.
time. I don't get any of the
It just
references.
came out. It literally just came out.
If it just came out, chances
Your
are
girls
we'll
would
catch
love
it on
it.
Netflix
We'll know
in
it.
15
Yeah,
years.
we'll know it in a couple years when it comes out on Netflix.
I mean, you have children.
That was a really
yes, we do.
It's for
We
the
have
children.
Poor underprivileged children who don't get to go to the movies and see first run things. They get to watch it on Netflix when it's free.
So what was it you were referencing now?
It was Big Hero 6.
I
He
have
was
seen
Baymax.
it. It's some big like.
Oh, the big marshmallow-looking
The
dude.
marshmallow
The preview
robot.
we went to a movie, one movie, The Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
That preview was on that movie. And we hadn't been to a movie since, the first Spider-Man, I think.
I think
gosh.
it probably was the first Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Tobey
one like
Maguire?
it. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Ow.
Yeah, we don't get out much.
Yeah, we don't.
That's why we have a shed.
Okay.
So you can at least feel like you're going.
Yeah, it's a mini vacation every day.
Let's go to the shed, everyone. All right, so I would second your opinion. I definitely, that's one of the things that keeps me coming back to D&D, is a table where it's balanced, and I feel like I'm a character that's contributing to the story. I think I've shared it before on the podcast. You know, don't treat me like a girl. Treat me like any other player. That's my one request.
And I love
of
how
the DM.
snarky you are. I gotta say, you are always just like, yeah, whatever. Shut up, wizard.
Shut up, Marty.
I think
She holds her own.
Yeah.
one
Yes.
of the things that helps with that is, in my experience playing with Mickie and then with other women at the table, is you're assertive. You don't wait for someone to call on you. You're there. You're in the game already. And it's the same, and I would say with a man, well, with a boy, with a male of the species, if they're just sitting back and not doing anything, it's kind of goofy as well. Why bother being at the table? But one thing that definitely, and one of the reasons why Mickie is part of the AFTS cast, is she is that person, and it's very beneficial.
Yeah.
Whether it works out or not, I'm going in. Yeah.
So, and go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to talk about what the heck was that game? DAOC, Dark Age of Camelot, that we used to play online. It was online. It was kind of an RPG, I guess.
It's an MMORPG.
Yeah, there you go.
There is no RP in it.
No, it's an MMOG.
They started calling them that, MMOG. Right?
All the WoW people are going, yes!
Yeah.
But it was fun because one of my favorite things, and I think the reason why I played the game so darn much, was I picked a cleric, and I totally did not play her as a cleric. Like, all the other clerics would sit in the town square and heal people, and they would always be just tagging along with the party, casting out the healing, not really doing anything. She was a battle cleric. And that was so much fun. Everybody's like, oh, you're playing it wrong. Her stats are wrong. You're leveling her up wrong. And I'm like, heck no, this is fun. I'm going to go kick some butt. That was the best character I ever played in any game.
That's a good note for everyone, for all boys and girls.
You don't always have to do what you think you're supposed to.
Just have fun with it. And
now this is the flip side. Now the WoW people out there are saying, no, you're wrong. You have to have the right stats and the right armor, dummy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you'll never beat that level unless your stats are right.
You're never raiding in my group.
Who cares?
This is why
It'll be all the more awesome when I do.
Yeah.
This is why I don't play WoW.
And Kat, on the same idea, what would actually, in seeing or hearing a game, what would actually make you say, I want to play with that group, or I want to be in that game? What makes it appealing?
Oh gosh, how funny they are.
Yeah.
I would definitely have to say how funny they are. You have to make me laugh to get me entertained. It's probably why I'm with my boyfriend. When I was listening to the podcast, I listened to the very first role playing that y'all were doing, and y'all kept on calling the oxen horses, or the horses oxen.
Yeah.
And you were like, no, it's an oxen.
The horses were dead in the trail, but the wagon was being led by oxen. He was like, I'm going to walk over to the oxen. No, those are horses.
Yeah,
those are horses.
Couldn't figure it out.
But it was
And then
definitely
Kurt did it.
entertaining. It was really entertaining. That's what would keep me entertained. If I can banter with someone back and forth, then that's a good game. And I can banter with Mickie a lot when we play. Kind of like a sparring match one time with the boys, and it was Mickie and I against the boys, and we were like, we're doing this, darn it!
This is how it's going to go, and you can either come or you can come. Those are your options. Oh, gosh. All right, folks. You heard it here first. Jessica Rabbit was right. We always look for a man who makes us laugh. Showing my age. It's all good.
I know who you're talking about.
You remember?
Uh-huh.
Jessica Rabbit. Loved her.
What else you got there, Mickie?
I think we went through everything
put a couple
here.
notes down there.
I did. I actually prepared for this. Shut up, guys.
That's crazy. Well, you prepared right before I
Right
clicked record. Yeah.
You don't have to tell them when I prepared.
All right.
I can
You
just tell them we prepared.
a long minute before I clicked record.
No way. She came in here totally prepared. This is off the cuff.
So I think we went over. The only other thing that we haven't talked about is like types of games. I think we've touched on it, like button mashing versus RPG. And how I'm just not a fan of button mashing, and I blame it on all those high school boys I used to play with. To all you boys out there,
Yeah.
it's all your fault. That's why we don't button mash anymore.
That's so true. I like controlling my character with my mind, not my fingers, or I guess that's the same thing, but, directly. It's more direct when you can control the person in an RPG like this than, like, fingers.
And finger mashing.
I'll tell you, my typing speed went way up through the roof when I started playing that the text-based mud. Because if I wanted to do anything, I had better type it fast. I mean, there were some shortcuts, but there was a lot of typing.
I think I know what you're talking about. There was like the little chat thing, and then you would create a story with a whole bunch of other people.
There were some
really. That's what I did.
Some like predefined paths that you could follow for like adventure things, but you always did a slash action, like it was slash smile slash talk slash like you had to type everything that you did, and then your character would read out a text line saying your character smiles slyly at the blah blah blah. It's like, oh, okay. So you would just sit there and hit slash and type random words and see does it do anything? Because it's all, you're trying to imagine the picture of it in your mind. You're trying to create that picture, but you're still trying to make it look to people around you like you're doing stuff. And it was a really interesting game. We played that for probably 3 or 4 years.
It was a while.
And that was before World of Warcraft and a bunch of other multiplayer games. It was probably the first of its kind, and I kind of miss it.
All right, people, start developing more stuff like
That's
that.
right. Well, I don't think many people would play a text-based mud anymore, but
I totally would. I used to be a part of a forum where we would, each one of us would have, we would go in, I guess, a circle. We'd have names, and we'd go in order, and then we would just type a paragraph of what our character was doing, and then we'd create this big old long story that was basically a book. And we'd all be interacting with each other and progressing the story along.
That's really cool. That sounds
that
really
would be
neat.
a play-by-post on a
Yes.
forum.
Yeah.
And this, the one Bridget was talking about, is more. There is a structured world and things you can do with your character, very much like a World of Warcraft. However, when you walk into an area, it says something like you would read in a D&D adventure. The walls are covered with moss. The obvious exits are north, south, and east.
Right.
And then you type east, and you go to the next area, and maybe you step in there. Also in here is a goblin, and then you can attack goblin.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was very dynamic. The developers would change things regularly. Like she said, the way your character would act was only what you typed. So somebody walking into an area, unlike the World of Warcraft or EverQuest or something, they don't see you unless they actually look at your character. It would just say, also here, Joe, right? And then they have to look at Joe to see that he's wearing a robe and a backpack and what have you. And you build the picture in your mind from the text on the screen.
That's pretty cool.
And that made a big difference. Very much like a play-by-post, except that the beginning of each post would be like a computer-generated, here's where you are, now add to it. But very similar.
That sounds really neat.
It was really neat. It was the time before children. I remember those days.
Remember them
when
fondly.
all I had to do was sit and play muds, and it was the reason that game, I still remember it so vividly, is because everything was in my head. The pictures I had were in my head. What my character looked like was in my head. There were no graphics to spoil it. What my character did is in my head. And it was just the perfect game for me. Because nobody could make it look wrong. People didn't have their boobs hanging out either.
funny that the games that appeal to us are those that require more imagination. It's not easy for you to just look at a screen and mash some buttons. There's some thought and some interaction that comes into play. Maybe we're discovering something here.
That's it. We're onto it.
We're onto it.
You know what? We should create a nerve gear thing from SAO. It's another reference.
Lost reference.
Say who what now?
Sword Art Online. It's an anime, and they put like this helmet thing on, and then it like shoots them into a virtual world of their own creation. I guess it's kind of like graphics, but I mean, you'd still like you would completely move yourself just by thoughts, but you wouldn't actually be there. I don't know. It's weird. To
See,
explain.
that's what we do. Is we walk through that shed door and do the same thing.
That's the portal.
Yeah, there's no
the world
helmet
right there.
though. Although I should probably wear a helmet.
We do
sometimes.
have these great space helmets that we're wearing.
Oh, you mean the headset?
The
headsets, the mics, and our cans.
I should have brought my bucket.
You should have.
But then there's no video to actually show that I'm wearing my Mando bucket.
There can be video. We just didn't do it today.
Don't worry about it.
So the games that appeal to us, and the perspective of 3 women versus the world. It's 3 girls versus the world.
Take them on.
So we like games that require more imagination, more interaction, more thought, with some things that we can control. What about you, Joe? What do you prefer?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, the type of game I like to play. Fortunately, I can easily display the type of game I like to play because it's what we do in the podcast now. Right. So I created it to play what I wanted to play with people that I enjoyed playing a game with. So a lot of times for me, it is. And again, not just from the Joe perspective, but GM perspective and boy perspective. I really like having Mickie here, especially because I think to date, in the, I don't know, maybe 20 or so recordings that Mickie has been in, I think she's the first one to cuss each time.
Yes,
so,
and the last one to cuss, too.
Usually the last. Yes. But there is that, as Bridget had mentioned, there's that kind of equal playing field all the way around the table. I don't think anybody is elevated on a higher platform for their ability to play, because that doesn't matter when we're sitting in this room. Nobody's a better role player or character actor or anything. People act differently. Like there are things that happen during the podcast that it's been pointed out to me by a couple of people, but like, Mickie, she almost always says, when she's talking about her character, Mickie says, well, she's going to go over there and do this, but everyone else is like, I'm going to do that. And I said, yeah, but just listen, and it won't make any difference because it flows the same way. And there's that again, everybody filling the same playing field, and we're all there together. And it's so easy in the group of people we have to be able to turn to any individual and say, all right, what are you doing? And there's an answer there. And if there isn't, at least everyone else will equally pick on that person for not having an answer.
Come on, get it together.
So that kind of game is what I like. And I think I kind of echo what you guys are saying, what you girls are saying is, if everybody at the table is a participant and you can be an equal participant, for me, that's where in the GM part, the running the game piece, being able to let everybody participate in what I'm creating and let them create equally with me. And that's an important part. It's one of the parts that frustrated me with the Dungeons & Dragons starter set. Everything was pre-created, and I complained about it. I feel like I complained about it incessantly for the entire the entire starter set. But we still had a lot of fun going through it, and we'll see a little bit of a difference as we move forward.
All right. That's interesting. I always say she, because to me, my characters are people.
Yeah.
It's not me. It's, it was Bree Longbottom going out there and wreaking havoc, and it's Thea and her whole messed up psyche that goes out there and thinks that she can take on the world by herself. And I've got a couple of other characters like Noctra, and James pointed this out last time. I talked about them like they're people, because to me they are people. But I have another question for you, Joe. So have you experienced DMing or playing at a table with multiple girls, and how did that work out?
Wow, doesn't sound like it went well.
It's tricky to answer because it was a table where there were 8 people and there were 4 girls and 4 boys, not counting myself. I try to think of myself as neutral while I'm sitting at the table, because being the the GM having to play all boys and girls in the world. I try to remain neutral in that perspective. However, there were 4 and 4. The problem, the hard part for me answering that was there was too much going on at the table. So overall, it was an underwhelming performance, the game itself. And because of that, I think that made things more distracting for everybody. So I could say, for example, one of the girls was sitting there doing a hobby, and another one was sitting on her phone. Well, on the other side of the table, there was a guy doodling and another guy on a tablet. So it's not like it was the girls doing something that the boys weren't. But for the most part, the only other game I've been in that had more than one girl at the table was at that guy's house. And she just wasn't into playing a role-playing game, but felt obliged because, well, he was running the game and she lived there as well. And that was my perspective, at least. And when I talked to her, she just said she wasn't that much into playing a character. She liked the Harry Potter and the fantasy world stuff, but she did not like playing a character. She felt, to what Kat said a little earlier, acting class and stuff, she said, I can't act. Well, you don't have to act, but some people just don't want to get into that.
That's such a rich history. I mean, think about the world of Harry Potter and bringing it into D&D. Oh, dude, I would so be Professor McGonagall. What?
I had a thought when y'all were talking about boys versus girls, and does it bother you when, especially in things like World of Warcraft or other online games where you're not face-to-face with a person, does it bother you when people play other gender characters, like a girl playing a guy or a guy playing a girl? I don't know. I just always felt kind of icky about that. I don't know. Because when you're seeing somebody's avatar, you're assuming that's a guy or that's a girl based on what their appearance in the game is. Does it make you feel differently depending on how they play, I guess? You know, if you find out that that guy that you've been raiding with for the last 6 months is really a girl, or that girl that you're buddies with, you know, is really a guy, like that's just kind of creepy.
That would be strange if you weren't like seeing them face to face.
Yeah.
Okay, so point of clarification though, like have we communicated? Because like thinking of James plays a lot of WoW, and I hear a lot of talk because they use mumble.
They do chat.
They do
actually
chat.
talk.
So they actually talk, but they also type. So if, obviously, let's hope that if there's chat, I would be able to tell the difference. But if we've talked, like interacted both in the game and out of the game, and, you know, if we've just shared, you know, stories and interacted as quote unquote friends, I would feel betrayed if that person didn't share who they really were. Now, if we've not interacted and it's just someone random that I'm playing with, then no, I really don't care. You know, fly free, be free. If you want to be, if your avatar, if you want to have a transgendered avatar, more power to you. Go for it.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people will think that, oh, the guy wants to be a girl just because she's hot. A lot of people will think that. Or the girl wants to be a guy because she wants to feel manly, or she wants to be like all the others and not be picked out as a girl, you know?
Right.
Or it could just be because that character has better stats than, or the exact same stats that they want. It doesn't really matter who you are, but yeah, like Mickie said, if we are interacting outside of the game and I didn't know that you were a man, that'd be really kind of awkward and very weird if I later found out that, this buddy person that I've been talking to for, 6 months is a guy.
Yeah, I've heard from guys who play female avatars, and that one of the reasons is because when I'm playing the game, I don't want to look at a guy's butt the whole time while I'm playing. Right? I've heard that. And then the other one I've heard is, if you start as a female character, all the guys that are guys in real life give you free stuff when you start because, well, you're a girl. Right? So, and if you think of how many teenage boys are out there playing these games, that does indeed make some sense.
Yeah, I could see that.
Right, because if you, say you logged into World of Warcraft and there was a girl there wearing a Doctor Who shirt, you'd give her something.
Totally go up to her. And be like, hey, baby, you want some fries with that shake? Hey, I've done that before.
Stay all frosty.
And then she's like, "Are you a guy?"
Like, right away.
I got a discount at a Bilo for commenting on somebody's Mockingjay pin.
There you go.
Oh, and I was wearing a Star Wars shirt.
I want a Mockingjay pin.
Hey, you got that reference?
I know, because I just got it on Netflix.
Well, you had read the
Actually,
book.
I read all the books.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Read the book so much better.
Oh, they were so
They're
fabulous.
always better.
And yes, Katniss rocks, and she's a strong female
And
heroine.
Didn't show her boobs.
And she didn't show her boobs once.
Movie.
Yay,
sucked.
no boobs.
What?
When I never read the books, but for me, when Bridget first put the movie on Netflix, in all honesty, from start to finish, I knew the entire plot. There was no surprise at all because the movie just felt so scripted. Now, if you had read the books, I guess it was really cool to see how they made it into a movie. But just watching the movie, I'm like, oh, she's going to do that. That's her boyfriend, but she's going to like this guy. And then it's like the whole time I knew exactly the next step that was going to happen. Oh, that girl's going to die. I know it. Right? And it was a decent movie, but it didn't feel like I was attached to it at all.
Now dial the clock back. I know it's hard because you're old.
Hold on, like back to what, the 60s? Is that
No,
what
it's
we're
like
talking about?
so these books. Correct me if I'm wrong, but are they marketed to like young adults?
Yes.
So as a
Yes.
young adult, I could see as an adult, your developed
like,
brain,
oh,
you
please.
figure it out.
Oh,
But as
don't
a
go
young
there.
Yeah.
as a young adult, I think. I mean, they did a decent job.
I loved the books. I mean, I'm 21, so I would guess I consider myself an adult.
Yeah. Legally, you're an
Legally.
adult.
Legally, maybe not at heart. I'm still a princess. I just can't pick out those things. Yeah, I can tell if it I can predict what happens next. But I do like seeing from reading the books. I like seeing how they made it. But it's also because of the thrill and the emotions that I feel when I watch the movie and her going through this. That's what I get out of the movies. And I guess I really can't pick out the cliche parts because I absolutely love Once Upon a Time, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's the most cliche TV show ever." And I was like, I love it though. It's princesses.
I think for me, what it was with that movie was like right from the beginning. I guess it's because it's a book series, and I knew there would be multiple movies. Right from the beginning, I'm like, "There's no way she's going to die." There was no drama in it for me, no cliffhanger, no weird twists. Everything, right? And that's what it was for me. But Once Upon a Time, I watched the first season
I
or
love Once
two
Upon a Time.
with Bridget. She's still watching it. I hadn't caught up. I
On
thought it was
ABC
really
Go on the
I
app
think
for
it's-
free.
It's definitely a girl thing.
Oh, and
Because
but
it's so
it's-
cliche.
But
But
the
it's a good
twist.
story.
But see, the reason I
More
like
girls
it is
like it than boys.
it's a twist. There's always a twist, and it was like the
But
first
you can
season. I was
generally
like,
predict the
"Holy
twist.
moly, that's where Pinocchio came from!" Oh wow, look at how they worked
Everyone's
Snow White
related
into
to
it. It was like,
everyone.
oh my gosh, this is awesome.
He's gonna kill me. At our house, I can't stand Once Upon a Time. James loves it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
See, this is the difference. Like everyone is different,
Yes.
and
Everyone is awesome.
everyone is awesome.
Oh, the Lego movie. The girl
Yeah,
with the
hey, you
Lego
got
movie.
that.
Oh yeah.
Only because I have a coworker who plays that just to be annoying. So he'll grab the little clip you can get from Amazon or whatever, and he'll play it because every now and then, like every 10 minutes or so, we complain about each other. The group of people who works together. So he'll pull that up, like everything is awesome when you're part of a team.
You should counter with Batman's version.
Oh yeah,
Everything is Batman.
everything is Batman. Huh.
Everything is cool when you're Batman.
Oh yes.
I could do that.
Oh gosh, we've devolved very quickly, like we tend to do, but that's okay. So we've I think we've given a fair assessment of the three females' perspective on the world of
No, we
gaming.
represent all females.
all
That's
females
it.
everywhere.
Everywhere.
Please like us, subscribe, share your thoughts, and share your views. I mean, that's like my sign off now. Like
Yeah.
us, subscribe,
Okay.
share your
Nice.
thoughts.
I love that we're outside your windows in your neighborhood
Oh,
watching
that was
you.
Kurt. Yeah.
So fabulous.
So is that supposed to be JJ? Is he the stalker of the
it
group?
was Kurt, and he was just like, and we're outside your windows watching you in your neighborhood. I'm like, oh wow.
Kurt was introducing an episode, and he went through the different things.
We're on
go to
Facebook, we're on
adventuresfromtheshed.com, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. We're in your neighborhood outside your window looking at you.
Oh god,
It
creeper.
was pretty funny. You mentioned subscribe. Another thing I added to the main page of the website, if you scroll down, you can put an email in, and you can get notifications when anything new shows up on the website. That's new. So you can
There you
actually
go.
subscribe to the website itself to get new posts sent to you.
So if we post something on the site, will someone who subscribed get that? Like,
Yep.
could we send out little email? That'd be
Ooh.
kind of
Yep.
neat.
What's your Wi-Fi password?
What is my Wi-Fi password?
I'm kidding.
It is, you can't use this.
No Wi-Fi for you.
That would be cool, though. I like
Yeah.
that. That's a nice feature.
Yeah, it's there. Also, of course, we have the Google community, which is where I would expect to have more of the forum piece because it's a good conversation place rather than the website is really just a post and then comments on the post, whereas the Google community is exchange of information as well.
I'd
So
like to have a conversation about this on the Google community. I want
Yeah.
some more perspectives out. 'Cause
I agree.
I'm sure our views are not unique. I'm sure there's others who have similar experiences and maybe some who have had different experiences.
I think that there might be people who just want to go sit and enjoy a game without really having to participate, right? So it'd be like listening to the podcast, but live, right? Instead of having to wait for it to show up and listening to it on your earbuds, you're actually sitting at the table and watching somebody do it, but you don't really have to do anything until it's your turn and they say, all right, I'll hit him with my sword. And yeah, no, someone else go.
And then
This
you
is
can
cool.
insult other people that are doing
Exactly.
a bad job.
Yes.
That's a cop out.
Shoot him in the knee. Shoot him in the knee.
Shoot him in the knee.
Can I shoot him in the knee now? I'm gonna shoot him in the knee.
He took an arrow to the knee.
And
Yeah.
greedy Bree, who had to pry the jewel out of the statue.
I
Kill
felt
everybody.
Yes, that's released now, so there's no spoiler there. That's
Oh,
good.
sorry.
I felt that was true to Bree's
That
character.
was just her shining moment right there.
She's
Oh, and by the way, that jewel that you just killed your party for is
It's
fake.
fake.
The end.
The end.
That's really how that adventure ended. If you listen
fabulous.
to it, it's pretty
Sorry for the spoiler.
Yeah, well,
alert.
you can skip right to the end if you don't want to listen to all of it, but I think it's a worthy ending.
Or that.
Yeah,
It sounds like it.
very good.
And I was reading the actual adventure last night, and I said to Joe, I was like, "Oh, you guys didn't go in this room," and he's like, "No, we didn't have time to get through every room." I'm like, Bree would have been like, "Mama needs the bling! Pry the rings off his finger!"
Yes,
gosh.
Yeah.
probably would have happened.
But see, I see them as characters because I was listening to the whole development of how they kind of grew together as a group. And then, Mama needs the bling! I need new shoes! But then she's like, shoot him in the knee! So it was a good balance.
That was a good balance. Thank you. I try. That's what
Yeah.
I strive for, my character.
And it was a very funny table. You guys are all very funny. Like, I'll be sitting in there listening with my earbuds on and I'd just laugh out loud at something, and the girls are like, uh-oh, what's Mommy listening to?
Yeah.
You broke Mommy again. It's funny.
I'll be in there either in a different room or just even sitting near her, and she laughs. And, all right, so what part was it?
Yeah,
'Cause
he's like,
I have
what are you
hear
listening
it.
to? What are you listening to?
Yeah. And there's been a few parts, because we've recorded enough now, there's been a few parts that she finds funny that I'm like, I don't even remember that.
I'm like, go back. It's session 3, episode 2. Go.
Yeah. So one thing I would say, we're getting close to the end of this one. What would you guys say to sometime in a few months or so actually trying a game with the girls?
Ooh,
I think that'd
an
be
all-girl game.
interesting.
Yeah, because I
Yeah,
have a
awesome.
niece also named Kat, or likes to
And Brittany.
call herself Kat, and but we could definitely get enough people to play in the game, and we could try that out.
That could be
Get some
interesting.
schedules to match up and play maybe for a few hours, a nice one-shot game where you can get some character ideas ready, develop the characters, and then poof, off into the world.
I think that'd be fun.
I've already got my character.
You ready?
I'm so ready.
So actually, let's take a couple more minutes. I'll start with you, Kat, 'cause you had a character ready. What kind of character do you like to play? And we'll use the setting of the medieval fantasy game, of the stereotypical Dungeons and Dragons. Thinking of all of the archetypes and the tropes that you know, What is your favorite one that you want to get into to play a game?
The character that I started with was Wilden, and it was a cat creature. And I loved the really tall, agile characters and more elf-like ones that are strong but don't look strong. I like either the mysterious ones. I like to make my characters a little mysterious or mischievous. I don't like playing the super happy, fluffy characters all the time.
But you do like that sometimes?
Depends, yes. I am a princess, so I mean, I do like the princessy ones. But not for battling like this. I couldn't be like, aha! And then like kill somebody.
I throw my glass slipper at them.
No, it's just more like break it on the side of the table and stab them with it. That's my kind of character.
You don't get shanked with a glass slipper. The heel of a glass slipper.
Be like Rapunzel wielding a lightsaber.
That's awesome. That would be awesome.
That's my next cosplay, y'all.
When you have a problem maybe cutting your hair, you have to have it wrapped up right.
Would I have to cut my hair?
No, I'm sorry, Rapunzel. If you're like swinging a lightsaber around, your hair's going to be all over the place.
No, I would have her.
She uses it as a curling iron.
She does cut her hair off. Remember?
No, he never saw.
He never saw. Okay, no, that's fine.
Sorry.
I should.
He's a dad of 2 girls. Fail.
I've seen lots of stuff.
Her hair gets cut off at the very end, and it goes like it's like brown and short and really cute. That's what I would
is
do.
this from Tangled?
It's from Tangled.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know that's who is the character in Tangled, but all right.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably play some sort of elvish creature because I'm totally obsessed with Galadriel from Lord of the Rings. She's like the most awesome, and Arwen is awesome. I love elves. I think they're amazing and pretty and like powerful and eternal. Yeah, I'd probably be an elf. I don't know an elf what, but I'd be an elf.
Something elfy.
Something elf.
Would it be an elf that kicked butt, or an elf that was diplomatic, or an elf that was magic-y?
Elf that could kick butt, but probably won't unless you provoke her.
A little restrained.
Guess whose character's getting provoked first?
It's gonna be an elf that has a little shank in her back pocket that when she needs to use it she will, but otherwise she's pretty mellow.
Her hairpin is like a little needle.
Yeah, there you
stick
go.
people in the eye.
Yes.
Stab you in the eye.
Instead of the knee.
Or like she would do poison and like other very quiet ways to kill you.
Yeah, sneaky.
Poisoned hairpin.
Yeah. Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
Bonus.
My characters tend to be bullies. They tend to be bullies. I like damage dealers. I like characters that can wallop when they want to, because I like to, whenever my party's around.
Yes.
I like to go in and make sure that I stomp around and smack some people around as long as there's some backup. And my characters tend to have like a dark side or a shadier side. They don't tend to be like lawful good. I will never play a lawful good character. I like some shades to my characters, but definitely some 50 Shades of Grey.
No. Not
that kind of podcast, Mickie.
They're like 48 Shades of Maroon. You can do it.
You can do it. So yeah, definitely some damage dealers. I think I'm going to try doing a barbarian next.
Holy moly!
Yes, because can you think about like that character just going berserk?
It's a Xena warrior princess.
Just walloping everything.
Yeah, as long as she doesn't get her mind turned and kill the entire party.
Well, no, when a barbarian goes berserk, right? It's enraged. Is that what it's called? They can't not be controlled.
Oh.
Well, you're thinking straight D&D.
I know.
That means we'd either have to play D&D or...
we could adopt that character for something else.
Yeah, definitely could.
So that's what I like. I like a damage dealer.
I really liked your tiefling. I still can't pronounce her name, but she's pretty cool.
Yeah, she was very sneaky.
Can't pronounce her name. What's her name?
I don't remember.
Okay, cool.
Sounds terrible. I don't remember.
All
my characters are people. I don't remember her name.
I don't know if I remember that one.
No, you haven't played with her yet.
But I think you had talked about it before.
Yeah, she's got an interesting backstory. She made some wheels and deals and sold her soul to get some power.
And the backstory I know is important to you, Mickie.
Very much so.
how important would it be, Bridget, to actually have a history for your character when you started? So your character may have motivations or ideals or something that happened to them in the past that actually makes them do what they do now.
I think it's important for the player to have that history or that backstory in their mind as they're bringing their character into the world, because that's going to influence how they interact with the other players. If they just have a blank slate and they're just kind of like, yeah, whatever, I'll go along with you guys. You know, they don't consider any motivations. It just makes it really flat, and they're not much fun to listen to or to watch because there's not much of a story there. There's no flavor. There's no color. And I think it's really important that you have a good picture in your mind of what you're going to do before you sit down, so you know when you look at your stat sheet that, you know, hey, this is what my character does and why, and what she's more likely to do or what she's definitely not going to want to do. If, you know, say she's afraid of spiders, every time a spider comes into a room, you know, she's going to freak. She's not going to be the one out front. She's going to freak and try to get away from it as quickly as possible. So it would definitely influence the gameplay with the backstory.
It would be very cool for a player to actually give their character a phobia and stick with it.
Yeah,
Never
yeah.
do. They're afraid of something, but they get over it quick when it counts for experience. Right? Quit being afraid of my experience. I need to kill it.
Okay.
What about you, Kat?
Yeah, I like background. Background is very important to me as the player and creating my character, because if you have at least a general basis of what happened to your character, like how your character grew up, I tend to pick urchins, like of characters who didn't know their parents and grew up on the streets, and they're very streetwise, and then something happened and developed them being tough or very antisocial. That's how I create my character, because I want to know their personality, and that definitely influences their personality, because then I can play my character and banter back and forth with all of the other characters. Like with my Wilden, I would always call the other characters smelly. I would stay away from them, like climb trees and be like, you're smelly, go away.
That's something I like, and I was actually talking to Bridget about this the other day. A player who will develop a trait or one thing that sticks out for their character, and then hammer it home over and over and over. And I was using the example of Nikki Saunders, that character I played.
Saunders is
And
fabulous.
I gave him the lisp to start, but then it's the same over-the-top attitude the entire time, right? He never backed down for 3+ hours of playing. That it's the same. He's going to kick your ass, and he's going to lisp it the whole way.
Saunders will make you exhausted.
Yes, and I like that. I like that when somebody takes it. Everybody's always smelling. I'm going to get away from them. It's often that a player will come up with something for the character and then eventually just taper off or not really pay attention to it anymore. And to me, those, like for the NPCs that I create, I try to make them have at least some trait that's over the top so you remember them. When you go back to the blacksmith, it's the blacksmith that, you know, that talked with a Mexican accent or something, right? And everyone remembers that. Why would that happen with a blacksmith? Or it's the one-arm blacksmith or something like that. Something.
How does he swing?
Right, exactly. Something that makes it a character, something that gives him that life that's memorable. I like that when a player does that as well.
Yeah.
Everything was smelly.
Everything is smelly when you're part of a team. Yeah.
There's Kat's character in a tree. I'm leaving. You guys
Everything is smelly.
You gotta stay upwind of them. And anything else you guys would like to throw in, you girls?
Girls.
I use guys universally.
Use guys.
Yeah.
Guys.
How's about you,
I just
tree
say y'all.
guys? How do y'all guys? How about
Y'all guys? I don't think that works quite
all
well.
y'all guys?
We're Yankees too, so it's even funnier when he does it.
I do it all the time.
All y'all's guys.
I think
Okay.
my perspective, I was covered. Just treat us like we're players.
gotta be
not
balanced.
like we're girls.
keep it balanced, keep it fair. Just because there's a female at the table doesn't mean she's a girl. You know.
And it's not an invitation to hit on me just because I walk into a comic shop or because I approach a table full of guys who are playing.
I'll try to stop.
Stop it.
Yeah, definitely. You need to stop.
We just
Especially when your wife's with you.
Yeah. Is it okay if you hit on your own wife?
Yes.
That's allowed.
Yes, that's very okay.
Damn.
That's allowed.
And there will be no future podcasts from this day forward.
And you're staying in the shed.
Yeah. At least I got a heater right here.
Oh, Lord. JJ and I.
And we'll cut the power to the shed.
You can, too. That sucks. Do that from the house. All right. Well, on that note, let's wrap this one up. Again, find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com. Of course, you can find us on iTunes. Hopefully, you're listening right from there now. You can also catch us on our Google community. We're on Facebook, on Twitter. I think I've started saying we're all over the internet. We've soiled the internet, so we're going to keep on doing that. Let's go around the table and say bye. Who are you again? And bye.
My name's Kat. I guess I'm the princess of the group because I'm the youngest. Bye.
This is Bridget, the wife of Joe, and the wife of Joe. Yeah, and bye.
Bye.
And this is Mickie, part of the regular cast of characters. It was fun chatting with you guys.
All right. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Vagina!
Hey there, ladies and gents. We hope you enjoyed hearing our thoughts about different issues that come up when men and women game together, and what we look for in a great game and a great experience playing. Remember, guys, girls are gamers too.
The preceding podcast was brought to you by Shedcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.